would say that despite the age difference between me and the three of you, I think we are friends more than anything. We are friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how important is friendship in what we do in church, in leadership?
Ja jestem przekonany, że miłość jest autentyczna, tego się nie da podrobić.
I'm fully convinced that the love is authentic. You can't fake it.
I to ludzie kochają, ludzie tego potrzebują, oni chcą autentyczności.
And that's what people love, that's what people need. They want the authenticity.
I ja jestem przekonany, że to, co w Biblii jest powiedziane, że po wzajemnej miłości nas poznają, że to jest dokładnie to, co my teraz robimy, że okazujemy sobie miłość.
Yeah, and what it says in the Bible, that they will know us by love, by showing each other love. This is something that we're demonstrating now.
Exactly, and you have this beautiful psalm in the Bible, 133, where it says how good and pleasant it is when brothers, some translation says brothers, but others says brothers and sisters, live together in harmony.
Yeah.
That's where God has placed the blessing. That's where the anointing is released. That's refreshing.
Yes.
So Rune, I remember that from the few times I met some of the guys in your band, I saw that you had built a good friendship in the rock band. But how important is friendship in the church that you are leading, or the network of churches?
I believe in this, that friendship is the best fundament we can have to build something together. And it says also, if you have like 7 friends in church, you will stay.
Yeah.
And I believe in that, because it's so easy to start like just work together, and it's such a big difference from being a colleague and being a friend, because you trust in a friend. And so my experience is this, that if you got friends, then it's easier to grow. It's easier also to train disciples if you have this fundament in friendship. So it's worth to work on, actually.
There is a good climate, for instance, in Oslo, where churches, the evangelical churches, different as they are, they cooperate. And I think, Rune, could you tell us something, because I think that you are building friendship with pastors and church leaders from many different churches.
So every week we meet and read the word and pray together, and this has been so powerful. It's so different kinds of churches, but praying together, we have many times really hear that God is speaking to us, and He's like speaking the same things. Like when we met last time, it's about being wholehearted to Jesus, and it was so powerful, because we had to think about the way we are living. Are we actually giving it all to Jesus? And many of us was like, okay, maybe we are becoming too similar to the world in so many areas. So this was powerful. But we are really building a friendship during praying together, and have some conversations, and split into smaller groups, and in those groups we share life, and so it's really something that is getting built here now.
Yeah, there is a prophet in the Bible, Isaiah. When he met God, he said, I am a man with unclean lips, and I live among a people with unclean lips. So he said, I am actually too much like those people that I am going to change. So we believe that the church is there to make the world better, right? Society.
Absolutely, yes.
So that's very important to us, that we believe that all Christians are brothers and sisters on the same level before God.
Amen.
And God has actually only one church.
Tak, ja jestem przekonany, że dostaliśmy mandat od Boga. takie pozwolenie do tego, żeby podnieść i wzbudzić pokolenie uczniów.
Yeah, I believe we have this mandate from God to raise up and build disciples.
I naprawdę widzimy, jak On to błogosławi, jak On dotyka tych kwestii.
And we see how he blesses that, how he touches those issues.
I naprawdę sieć jest pełna wielu dobrych nauczeń,
So the internet is full of really good teachings.
ale te nauczania nie zmieniają ludzi, jeśli ktoś nie pomoże zaimplementować tej nauki do konkretnej sytuacji w życiu ludzi.
But those teachings don't change a thing unless there's a person who helps them to implement that, who to put it into practice in their own lives.
Yeah,
To jest ta różnica.
And that is the difference.
Exactly. So this has to do with the way we teach.
Yeah.
And you, Łukasz, you know a lot about this, not only because you know the Bible and you know the theology, but you also work professionally with
Yeah.
teaching. So do you want to comment on this a little bit about the New Testament way of, we often call it training,
Yeah.
to just try to show that this is not someone standing at a pulpit talking to a big group of people.
Yeah.
But this is something different. And when Jesus said, teach them to do, this is more, that's why I'm using the word training.
What I teach people when it comes to English is that it has to be applicable. I don't care about people who bring certificates. I teach people who study English and they can't speak English, and that's the paradox of the whole thing. And then I introduce my son, who speaks better English than any of them, and it's because he doesn't know that he's actually learning. Like he's not put in a bench. I don't take him to some specific place to lock myself in and teach him something. I take him for shopping. I take him for a walk. And then it pops in because he starts asking me questions in English. That's the whole idea, that the New Testament way is just to live the life
Yes.
that Jesus shows you, and show it to others where you live your life. Times change, but the word stays the same. But we have to be up to date with the life that God has to us and bring the answer where it's needed to people's situations where they're at, and not just have lived the same old stuff, but be constantly renewed in our minds, and with the help of brothers who just sometimes mirror you and it's like, well, look at that. I mean, that doesn't look good, you know. And that helps us to grow with that environment where you have this trust, but at the same time, there's always someone like Rune said, to tell you the truth. Then that's something else, because you're not just patting each other's back saying, yeah, great job, but then you become a band of brothers, really.
So family is the environment that God created for us to grow up.
Yeah.
And we think that church should be family, not classroom,
Yeah.
or not a congregation.
It's about family, and also this way of getting to become a disciple. And like you see in the second Timothy 3:10, it's where Paul says, you follow me in faith, in love, in life. And that was what I was looking for. Is there anybody I could follow? And right after that, Knut, you moved to Oslo. And after a while, I know you've been praying a lot for me, but after a while, I came into your living room, and for me that was so powerful because 13 years on tour in the rock and roll band. That really, it's quite hard to live like a Christian, and I was so longing to grow with Jesus.
But Rune, it's important to say that it's not only about one person passing on something to another one, because I had some part in your training, but there were many others. So this is what we talk about, covenant community. You had friends, you had brothers like Paul like Kjetil, like others. There are so many people involved in your training and your education and your growth. So that's important to
Absolutely.
you don't give the impression that it's one person training the next one. And so this is what you do now. You are really good at releasing others into their calling and into for them to be fruitful.
That's what it is about. For me also this covenant friendship has been such a safety in my life. So like today, I started the day praying with Kjetil. He's also part of the leader team here in Oslo.
Yeah.
And in that fellowship, he is really helping me in my life. And we have an open life where he is asking me questions and I'm asking him and we're praying. And that's such a safety to stay to stay clean to be refreshed every day. So I really believe that to invite people into our life that we can have like a covenant friendship with it's so important for what we are doing.
We have to talk a little bit about the conflict between raising our own children and being involved in so many other people.
Muszę ci powiedzieć zabawną rzecz. Raz listonosz zadzwonił do nas do domu.
I have to tell you one funny thing. Once a mailman, a postman called our house.
I mój młodszy syn, najmłodszy, tam Antek, podszedł i
Zadzwonił do drzwi.
Tak, i otworzył mu drzwi i mówi: o, cześć wujek.
So the mailman rang the bell. My youngest son opened the door to him and he said, "Hi, uncle."
Come on.
Come in.
Po prostu, tak jak powiedziałeś, ludzie wchodzą i wychodzą. To jest
Just like you said, people coming in and out all the time.
są częścią naszego życia.
They're part of our lives.
Dzieciaki nie są gdzieś tam z boku tego wszystkiego. Oni naprawdę żyją razem z nami tym.
The kids are not just like on the side track to all of this. They live with us and all that. I use every opportunity. We pray on the way to the kindergarten. We spend time wherever we can. Sometimes I would take one or the other to a date. Just me and the kid. Just.
Okay, so you take them out, or?
Yeah, just have some ice cream, do something that they would normally not do, and just spend the time together. So
yeah, I also have.
That's a good one. You also do that, Andrzej?
Yes, I also have private time with my all kids. And
Every week?
No, it's too much kids.
Too many kids.
Too many kids.
So Rune, how do you make sure your children feel special, that you are actually their father, you love them unconditionally? How do you do that in your busy life, taking care of so many people?
I think this is challenging.
Yeah.
I think in periods I've been too much traveling, have too busy days, and not be good in prioritize my family. So that happens in some periods. But me and Maria, we had some talk about this and always try to get back to what is the most important things. So Maria has been so good to me in this, because she is actually telling me, Rune, now we have too little time together. Now the kids, you don't see the kids now. So and she's helping me in this. But for me, it's we want to have a balanced life.
Yeah.
But it isn't always balanced. We also have an agreement, me and Maria, in periods I will be very busy. And that's like, sometimes it is like that. And I try to tell my children also but when I'm home, I want to give them the best. So I try to be there, and we do some fun things together, like and we do things that I know they really like my son, he started playing the drums, so that's a good thing. And I actually dared to put 2 drum kits in my basement, and so now sometimes we are sitting together and playing the drums, and we have such a good time together, and it's good for me and it's good for him. And the other son, he's really into football, and he's much better than me. I'm maybe one of the worst football players, but I want to do it with him sometimes just to see. I want to do what you like. So I try to do it, but honestly, this is like an ongoing process all the time. I often have to go back and see, how am I living according to my written down priorities? And it's challenging, but it's worth taking this fight, because family is so important, and for us elders as well, it's we need to take care of the family.
It's about learning to really love them the way they are, to get to know your kids and their needs. And I think I got something from you. You told me once not to choose projects over people. And now I'm exposed to as an elder, as a leader, to do certain things. You must not show people you're after projects, because we cannot have lost generation among our own children, and this has to stop. I mean, I've seen it way too many times, and I don't want to follow the mistakes that so many preachers had, and lose something so important. So learning from your mistakes, learning from your experience, and the fact that you've shown me something, like it's people that matter.
I have two themes that we need to touch before we end this talk. The first is about accountability. We sometimes use the word transparent, and I found this word a few times in the book of Revelation, about the city of God, and also the place where the believers are standing before God is transparent. So we are talking about living open lives, and we talk about accountability. How do you practice this, the three of you? Do you have anyone that you, in a way, are accountable to with your life, and that you share about what's going on?
Yes. I think this topic it's so important, and I have different people actually. I have like Kjetil. He is my closest friend here in Oslo. We are working together almost every day. We have a touch, like, because he's one of the part of the leader team, and we ask each other questions. And we had I've said to him, you need to talk into my life, tell me whatever you see. And very often he does that. Rune, I have something that I want to share with you. And he said, Rune, are you sure you should do this? Is this your task? Is this your main thing to do? And then he sometimes said, maybe somebody else should do this, because one of my weaknesses is that I'm very often in a rush, and that I say yes to more things that I should. And that we know about this, and he knows about this. So that's one of the areas he's trying to help me into. But also raising children. So since we're spending some time together, and we visit each other, he sees things, and I said, Kjetil, if you see anything in my life or in my family, please tell me. And so he does. And also we ask questions like, do you get time with the Lord? I know you have he is also a very, very busy man. And sometimes I ask, You pray? Do you get time to read the Bible?
Mm.
How is your life with your wife?
Andrzej, how do you practice this?
O. E, To jest dla mnie o tyle trudne, że jedną z moich słabości jest to, że jestem osobą, która
It's
samowystarczalna trochę.
it's so hard to me because you know I'm this kind of a guy that is kind of a self-sufficient.
I to długo mi trudność sprawiało, żeby mówić do ludzi, proszę, komunikujcie mi to, co widzicie.
So it took me a while to tell people, yes, please communicate what you see.
Ludzie się bali mówić mi
They were
rzeczy,
afraid of telling me things.
ale któregoś dnia myślę, że złapałem to dlaczego to jest takie ważne dla mnie.
Yeah, but one day I think I finally came to realize why it is so important
I
to me.
zacząłem mówić, że jeśli mnie naprawdę kochasz, to powiedz mi prawdę o mnie.
And so I told them, if you really love me, tell me the truth about me.
Pomóż mi.
Help me.
Pokaż mi to, czego ja nie widzę.
Show me what I don't see.
I to naprawdę dużo zmieniło, bo ludzie coraz odważniej zaczynali komunikować, ratować mnie z wielu opresji.
And it changed a lot because people started communicating and actually saving me from trouble this way.
I heard that the two of you, you have for a period of time at least talked quite often. So even though there is 5 hours drive about from Warsaw to Rzeszów, and Andrzej is even younger than you.
Yeah.
Would you say that you are accountable to Andrzej?
Maybe not so much recently, I guess, but I think Andrzej, as you've really nailed some things in my life, like how to use. Sometimes you have certain giftings in life, like that you gladly use to the church, but it doesn't fit your family at all. So there is security with the proper relationships, with the good leadership. So I consider this guy to be my leader as well, and I'm so happy he's in my life. And the fact that he will not spare me but tell me the truth is just, it's a safety. It's normal. This is what leaders lack.
I want to end this talk with trying for us to be a little practical in how we can help those who have a longing to become a spiritual father. Andrzej,
Ja bym powiedział jedno.
I'd say one thing.
Jak najszybciej zlokalizuj kogoś, kto operuje jak ojciec i błagaj go o pomoc, żeby ci pomógł dorosnąć.
Yeah, so as soon as you can, just find out where that spiritual father is and just beg him for help.
Nie możesz się nauczyć czegoś, czego nie widzisz. Musisz to dostać, naśladować to.
You can't change the things you don't see. You have to get it. You have to follow somebody's example.
Nie dostaniesz tego z teorii. Nie można nauczyć się być ojcem z teorii.
You can't learn to be a father from theory.
To największe zmiany, które następowały we mnie, to jak jeździliśmy razem, Knut, w różne miejsca, jak ja widziałem, jak ty myślisz o ludziach, jak traktujesz każdą rozmowę bardzo poważnie.
So the greatest changes were on those trips, Knut, where we were together, how I saw you thinking about people, dealing and doing all the stuff.
To jak okazywałeś mi serce, sprawiło, że ja byłem gotowy robić dokładnie to samo z innymi. Wiedziałem, jak to robić.
Yeah, so the fact that you had shown me your heart enabled me to do it. I knew how to pass it on.
I want to thank the three of you for not only for being in this Zoom talk, but for making the choices that you have made. Because there has been some pain.
Yeah.
There has been some difficult choices. But you decided to lay down your own life, many of your own things, your own hobbies, your own interests, your own selfishness, not only for your family and for your for those people close to you, but for many, many other people. And now you see other men and women learning from you. And we could have brought so many leaders in our movement in here today to share their story. But thank you for choosing this to be there for others.